Hey guys, what's up? This is Dreth with Depths of Dota, and today we're going to be doing a best combinations video, and we're starting off by looking at ability draft. Now, ability draft is a new game mode where you will be randomly selected a hero and then get to pick from a pool of heroes, random heroes, and you will take turns picking. So as you can see, the order is up here. I will be playing Centaur War Runner this game. You can see I'll be third to pick. And these are the abilities that we get to pick from. Now, when you're playing a strength hero, typically you like to go abilities that aren't too heavy in mana cost. In this typical game, I will be going Searing Arrows first, because that'll give me a ranged attack and it'll also give me bonus damage. But typically, really good combos in this type of game are bashes on ranged heroes, sometimes fury swipes on ranged heroes, and then a really good combo that I've played with a few times is getting static link on any hero, comboed with a walrus punch and a shadow blade. And pretty much what you do is you just run up to them, static link them, shadow blade, stand next to them until you've stolen as much damage as you can from them, come out of your invisibility with a walrus punch, and if they are a weak intelligence hero, they will die in one shot. And that's just a really good combo. It's something I've used a couple times, and not to mention, if you initiate with that movement and they aren't countering your invisibility, then you will have tons of damage to finish off with a team fight. Alright, so we got Searing Arrows, and our next power will be Reactive Armor. So now we're looking for some sort of durability. You've got Reactive Armor, which is a really good durable move. Each time you're attacked, up to 16 stacks, you can get 1 bonus armor and 1 bonus HP regen at the max level. Now, there's other good durability moves like Corrosive Skin. Basically, what you're looking for when you play this game mode is you're looking for early harass, which Searing Arrows is definitely an early harass. Reactive Armor is early durability, and then you just look for other powers that'll combo well with you. And like I said, if you're agility or your strength, you're looking for low mana cost, and if you're intelligence, you know, you can kind of rack up on mana. You're looking for stuns. You need a lot of stuns in this game, but make sure you don't get too much stuns that if the game does go late, that you will lose. Because generally, if the other team's not picking stuns, they're picking passives, they're picking late game hard carry powers, and if that happens and you let it go to late game, then you will end up losing. So there's a lot of people who are bent on getting stuns every single game, but that's not always a good option. Now, you do need to take into consideration some powers do not interact correctly, such as if you get Eclipse and someone else grabs Lucent Beam, your Eclipse will be useless. Also, if you get Nether Strike and you do not have Greater Bash, your Nether Strike will not bash the target, it will only perform damage. And so Greater Bash and Nether Strike are kind of essential. As you can see, I went for Stampede, my hero's normal ultimate ability, just because of its low mana cost, and it's it's good for saving allies, and it's also good for chasing. So I figured it was a good pick. So right off the bat, you can see that Naga went Static Link, but she also went Nether Strike, which is weird on her end, given the fact that she's doesn't have Greater Bash. So the game is about to begin. I also went Ensnare because it goes through BKB powers, Even though there aren't any BKB powers in this game, if someone were to pick up a BKB, I would be able to ensnare them. And ensnare also has a very long duration of holding. So I always think it's a great power, and I pick it up on the regular. So right off the bat, here I am. Let's see. Right off the bat, you'll see me grab certain items, depending on who I'm playing. If I'm playing a more intelligence-based hero, I will grab Boots of Speed first, along with a Tango and a Clarity. If I'm playing either Strength or Agility, somebody who needs last hits, I will grab a Quelling Blade and a Tango and a Clarity. And this just helps early game, either with escapes through the trees or getting last hits. As you can see, ability draft is very much like a normal game, whereas teams usually split up into jungle, one lane, middle lane, and 2 lane, or you got the 2-1-2, and you check for runes at the beginning of the game. The game mode is very much the same, except for the fact that generally you don't have a support, because people don't pick support abilities. Sometimes you'll have a nice guy who will pick support abilities. I will pick support abilities maybe once every 5 games, just because I like to switch things up and actually give a team the support who's putting down wards and has healing abilities and has abilities just to help your teammates overall. So you begin off just trying to creep block. I didn't creep block so well this game. And the objective of the game and everything is the same. So while we're waiting for the game to get into motion, let's actually take a look at some of the players' abilities and how they'll combo together. Alright, so first of all, we've got well, let's just start with the bottom. We've got a Skeleton Walk with a Nether Toxin, a Strafe, and an Eye of the Storm. So it looks like he's looking to be a ganker. He's looking to probably pop his Eye of the Storm and then go into a Skeleton Walk, maybe follow you around for a bit, get a few hits on you, and then pop a Strafe and just start nailing you with his Nether Toxin. But Nether Toxin does not stack, so the Strafe and the Nether Toxin don't really combo well together. A Strafe would combo really well with a power like Fury Swipes, because Fury Swipes do work on ranged heroes. Although Fury Swipes were not in this game mode, that's just something you've got to take into consideration for other game modes. Alright, next in line we've got Clinks. Oh, it looks... Yes, this is where I do First Blood. So since I have Searing Arrows, I can perform a ranged attack. You can see the range circle. Of course, the game was paused right as I was going to get First Blood. It was a little bit frustrating, but we unpaused it shortly afterwards. So this will give me a little bit of time to explain Searing Arrows and how ranged powers work on melee heroes. You can right-click it to make it auto-cast, but that will not give it the range potential. You have to manually cast it. So you have to click it, or click Q, or whatever you have your hotkey for this power as, and you need to click on the enemy. And you'll see I fumble with it a little bit here. And so there was First Blood, and all thanks to a really good Ensnare and just a Searing Arrow. I mean, Ensnare is really good just to prevent them from moving for a bit. You can see my ally is charging in right now, so I'm just preparing for another gank. And there it is. So there's 2 ganks in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So already we're doing amazing for an ability draft. Especially me, since I got both of the kills. I'm already up to 1,000 gold, and there's a huge creep wave coming that's about to give me a ton of XP and hopefully a ton of gold with last hits. So now, while we let the game mode go again, let's talk about Clinks' combinations. He's got a teleportation with a double edge, a demonic conversion, and a black hole. Now, Clinks did not pick very smart in this game. First of all, he's got jungle capability, which is what's with the teleportation, the demonic conversion. But aside from that fact, he does not have the mana pool to really support demonic conversion jungling. I mean, he'll be able to get a few demonic conversions off, but he'll be leveling a lot slower than everybody else in the game. Also, double edge, dealing 400 damage at its max level is highly... It's just not a power you would want to use with Clinks. Clinks' base health is super low, as you should know, and leveled all the way, this could hit him for half of his health, if not more. Because Clinks originally has Skeleton Walk to get away from enemies. And Black Hole, again, not a good power for Clinks because he again has low base health and he just can't stand there for as long as he would like to cast that Black Hole. As you see later in this game, I will be getting a Radiance, and my Radiance will do sufficient damage to him during his Black Hole that, if not right when we come out of the Black Hole, we can kill him, or he might even die while casting his Black Hole. Alright, next up we got Unstable Current, which is a good durability power. Causes stable stun and damage on a target cast. And we've also got Hoof Stomp, which is a good stun. We've got Static Link, which is a good power, steal damage. We got Nether Strike, which we already talked about. Not really worth the time or the mana or really even the ultimate ability slot if you do not have Greater Bash with it, because you will not get a stun and there's just nothing you can really do about it. Alright, now so Naga's lineup is actually pretty decent, but she does not have any early game harass, which is where the problem comes in. Because if she is playing against people with early game harass, she will not get any last hits and most probably get ganked, which she already has. She's died twice. So overall good powers, but they're late game powers and there's no harass, so the powers themselves are useless. Alright, now we're going to talk about Timbersaw. Mirror's Edge. It's a decent power to get. You know, I've never really saw much, you know, quality in it. Comboed with Riptide, sure, but still, again, nothing to be afraid of, really. Alright, then we got Last Word, which it does a significant amount of damage, and if they do get it lasted on them the whole time, they will become silenced for a significant amount of time. So Last Word is a good power to have. It does have early game harass potential, along with silence capabilities, which are good in ability draft. Especially in ability draft, silence capabilities are good. And then we've got Wrath of Nature, which is a good farming ability, definitely. And as you can see, he just hit me for a few damage there. But again, you know, he's got a lot of powers, because you can see at the highest level you've got 100 mana, you've got 110 mana, 115 mana, and 275 mana. So once he is level 16 per se, casting every single one of his powers is going to cost him a significant amount of his mana pool, if not more than half, which means he will be stunted for battles and will have to either find some source of mana regeneration, and etc. And as you can see, my Searing Arrows do cost 10 mana each time I cast, which does kind of hurt my mana pool a little bit, which is why I went Mana Boots. If you go a Strength hero or an Agility character with more mana powers than you should have, then you will want to get Mana Boots. And I will usually rush a Bloodstone or some other power that will give me mana, or item that will give me mana later game. Alright, now for Enigma, he's got Malefice, which is a great early game stun. Does damage and does a few consecutive stuns. And then he's got Whirling Death, which it's a decent power, but on a ranged hero, not as great. Because not only he's technically supposed to be fighting from a distance, and then to use Whirling Death on you, he's got to get close to you, which means he will be stopping his attack animations to move his character closer to you and Whirling Death you, which is just, it's not really something that's viable in this game mode. And he's got Kinetic Field, which is a great power to trap teams in, unless they've got some sort of BKB that they can run through it with. But it's great. It combos really well with team fight powers, which they have not really any of. They've got the team fight stuns, but they don't have the team fight damage. So they're really lacking there. A power like Kinetic Field would have comboed really good with Static Storm, its original ult, but instead we've got Chakram, which is not really something. It's a mana burner, and it's just, I mean, it does damage over time, has a really little slow, but anyways. Overall, team picks were poor for the game mode, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you don't get the powers you want, sometimes your allies pick the powers you want, and it can screw up your whole team. That's why it's preferred to play this game mode with allies, with people you actually know. But so let's go up and let's talk about my team's powers. The True Wiggles, he's got Poison Attack and Viper Strike. These powers combo really well together, and I mean, you can't really beat these powers together. He can output a lot of damage with just these two powers. He has an awesome slow. Not to mention he's got a Sprout, which he can then put any melee hero stuck in between trees while he continues to fire Venom at him. And aside from that, he's got Empowering Haste. So he's got his movement speed for chase or escape. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at early game harass, we're looking at a form of durability, we're looking at a stun, a form of stun, and we're looking at a good ultimate that goes with his whole set. So right here is a good combination of powers. Alright, now let's look at Zombie Swagger. We got a Timber Chain, and we got a Midnight Pulse, and we got Arc Lightning, and we got Global Silence. Now, Arc Lightning, Midnight Pulse is good for team fights, throwing one down. It's also good for destroying trees. You've got Arc Lightning, good for early game harass. You've got Timber Chain, good for escape, somewhat of a form of durability. These powers are good. They won't be as good later game. Global Silence is great for teams. He's done pretty good picking his powers with the escape and the team fight capability and the early game harass and the Global Silence. It's a good thing that he went an ability like Global Silence with powers like these, because if he went something else that maybe wasn't as viable for his hero, like Viper Strike, he wouldn't be getting kills with Viper Strike. He would just be using it for a slow. So overall, his powers are good. They're very early game. They won't do much late game, but that's okay. As long as you've got the early game and you've got players who have the late game as well, then you'll do okay. All right, let's take a look at, I don't know how to pronounce his name. So we'll just take a look at his powers. We've got Greater Bash on a ranged hero. This is great. This is absolutely perfect for early game harass. And then we've got Corrosive Skin. There's his durability. And then we've got Plasma Field. We got team fight capability and damage output. And then we've got Static Storm. Not only an area silence, but damage over time in an area as well. This lineup is great. This is a great lineup with the bash and everything. It's just a good lineup, and you know, it's great for team fights. It helps out the team, and you know, it's gonna get him kills, and it's gonna help his teammates get kills. Alright, now let's take a look at my lineup. We've already talked about my lineup. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. Just to go over, we've got Harass, Durability, Stun, and Team Fight. Alright, then we'll go to Kenny G. We've got Lightning Bolt, early game Harass. We've got Charge of Darkness. This can be an escape, also a chase, and it is also, what else we got for it? Kind of a teammate aid, if you will, like if your teammates are in danger, if they're engaging in a fight and maybe they don't have enough men, Charge of Darkness is always a good power to have. And then you've got Glaives of Wisdom. And there is one thing that I should mention as we're talking about Glaives of Wisdom. If you will notice, let's take a look. Kenny G. Kenny has not leveled up his Glaives of Wisdom at all. I am not actually sure if the Glaives will work on his hero. I know for Silencer steals the intelligence automatically. He does not need the Glaives of Wisdom in order to steal the intelligence. As long as he's got his power leveled up where his Glaives of Wisdom would normally be, he will be stealing intelligence if he is within 900 range of the death. And so that is something you have to keep in mind with Silencer. If the enemy does have a Silencer, you do not want to die within range of that Silencer. Alright, now since Kenny G does not have his leveled up, we'll have to take a look at it later. Okay, and then his final ult is Thunder God's Wrath. So again, you've got early game Harass, you've got Chase, Escape, and Team Aid, and then you've got some late game Intelligence to Damage, percentages, passives. This is not necessarily a passive, it's more of an auto cast, but you can see what I mean by percentages to damage. And then you've got Thunder God's Wrath, which is that's Team Fight, that's Chase. I mean, you can see the amount of Team Fight we have compared to the other team. We've got Team Fight, Team Fight, Team Fight, Team Fight, and then we've got Gank, and then they've got like somewhat of a Team Fight, kind of a Team Fight, that's Gank, Team Fight. It still only targets one person with the lowest health. So, and I mean, like the amount of damage that their Team Fight outputs compared to ours, maybe if they landed it perfectly, like with a black hole throwing a shotgun right in the middle, and then a Wrath of Nature while there's like a bunch of creeps over here and a bunch of creeps over here, and they launched it in this direction, so it bounced all over these guys and then all over these guys and then hit us all right here. Maybe it would be an effective team fight, but their powers just aren't really effective together. Where we can throw a static storm on top of them, get in as many stuns as we can, and then throw a global silence after they get out of the static field, and then do a stampede, get in some more stuns, and then Thunder God Wrath the rest who are running away. I mean, it's a much more viable build. And I actually did have 3 buddies in this game. I was playing with Kenny G, Silencer, and Zombie Swagger. So Viper, Disruptor, and Silencer were all buddies I was playing with. The True Wiggles was the only one that was not a buddy, but he was doing extremely well. As you can see, he's 3-0-2 right now. And so since we've talked about the combos and everything in this game, I don't know if you've really been able to follow what's been going on in the game. I've almost got a Radiance though at 17 minutes. I've been getting quite a few kills, and the game just gets more and more ridiculous as it goes on. So I'm just going to speed up the time a little bit, let you watch it and enjoy it, and you can see how our abilities work together, and you can watch me go. I believe it was 41, 1, and 13 this game. So, enjoy. Alright, for those of you who are still watching, I would just like to bring up that this part in the game was a game changer. As you can see, I will be coming in and cleaning up with a double damage rune as they have killed my teammates. I start off with Razor. As he's ensnared, he turns invisible when he's not ensnared. As you can see, Clinks just used his double edge on me, went to really low health. My Radiance basically killed him after that. And there we end with an ultra kill, changing the game by a ton, changing my net worth from, I believe, somewhere close to 10,000 up to 12,000. So I got a ton of gold that fight, and of course now I'm going to aim towards the Heart of Tarask, and then it becomes the point of impossibility where they tried to kill me. Anyways, keep enjoying. I'm going to end up with a Heart of Tarask and a Divine Rapier along with the Aegis, and I will end up getting 41 kills by the end of the game. The game is at 40 minutes long. We are at the 21-minute mark. I am going to double speed it again right now. And there you have it, guys. This has been Good Combinations, episode 1. And stay tuned for another episode that will be coming up. Thanks for watching. This has been Drep with Depths of Dota 4118.